What is going on, everybody? It is Tuesday at 6 p.m., which means it is time for a brand new episode of Championship Rings. However, as you can see, Brandon Lewis, the host of Brandon's World, is not here this week, but nonetheless, the show must go on. I am still here, UngarToTheMax, host of the Sports Room Talk Show, and with me today is my fellow YouTuber, the host of Seaboss Gaming, where you do a bunch of gaming on your channel. I know a lot of wrestling content. It's my boy, Seaboss. How's it going, my friend?
Hi, guys!
Hey!
It's great to be back on another episode. I know I was just here like a couple weeks ago. As he said, I am doing a gaming channel. I stream a lot of gaming content. I do a lot of gaming content. Not often, but yeah.
Yes, happy Tuesday.
Yes.
So, we were going to start with the topic of Clemson and Florida State possibly being on the move to go to the Big 12. However, earlier this afternoon, we got a little bit of a news drop because Brandon Ayuk, the star wide receiver for the San Francisco 49ers, has officially requested a trade. So we know that the 49ers have been in the Super Bowl 2 of the past 4 years, I believe it is. They've been to the 5.
2019 and last year, because it went Niners, Chiefs, then Buccaneers, Chiefs, then Rams, Bengals, Eagles, Chiefs, then 49ers, Chiefs again.
Okay, you're right. But the Niners have also been in the NFC Championship, what?
Pretty much at least 4 of those 5 years.
Yeah, pretty much 4 of those 5 years, I believe. The only one they weren't in was 2020 when the Buccaneers played the Packers. But nonetheless, Brandon Ayuk has been a huge part of the reason why the 49ers have put themselves in this position of being contenders and being on the doorstep of winning their 6th Lombardi trophy and joining only the Pittsburgh Steelers, because I don't care what the hell the facts say, I don't believe the New England Patriots legitimately have 6 Super Bowls. I will stand on that opinion. But nonetheless, what is your reaction to Brandon Ayuk officially requesting a trade?
My question is, why? I mean, I get he wants more money, but you're on a championship contender. Why not stay with a championship contender and continue to contend for championship?
Yeah. I mean, you've got Deebo Samuel, you've got George Kittle, you've got Christian McCaffrey, you've got Brock Purdy, although we don't know if he genuinely is a great quarterback or if he's just a product of the
San
parts,
Francisco.
Yes, and the parts around him. Plus, you have a fantastic defense. Why would you want to leave all that? I mean, the answer to this question is money, because you look at not just the quarterback market, but the wide receiver market. It's just getting higher and higher, more expensive, and these players want to be paid top dollar.
Right. Especially if you're like a wide receiver 1.
Yeah. And this is why I continue to make the argument and just express my displeasure. I'm like, why does the quarterback always get the credit for big plays? Like, if Joe Burrow throws a 5-yard pass to Jamar Chase and Jamar Chase ends up turning into a 20-yard play, who made that play? Was it Jamar Chase or was it Joe Burrow, right?
It was a mix of both, but yeah, it was because, like, if a wide receiver. So here's the thing. If a wide receiver drops a pass, why is all the blame on the wide receiver? But when the wide receiver makes a great catch and goes for a touchdown, all the credit goes on the quarterback.
Right. Like, we saw that with Brock Purdy all the time. Like, oh, did you see this great play by Brock Purdy? Well, no, it was more so a great play by Brandon Ayuk. It was a great play by Deebo Samuel. But the quarterback's always going to get the credit.
Which I very much disagree with.
Yeah, see, you and I are on the same page because I'm like, why is it always the quarterback winning the MVP? Why is it always the quarterback winning Super Bowl MVP and all this and that? But getting back to this, like, one of the teams being rumored that IU could possibly go to is the Washington Commanders. Have you heard this?
What? What?
Yeah.
So you want to go from a championship contender to a bottom of the barrel team?
With arguably the worst stadium in the NFL.
I think after what happened, 2-3 seasons ago, I think it became inarguably the worst. I mean, that stadium is falling apart.
Yeah, actually, I think you're right because
an entire seating area collapsed.
Right. Yep, and
fans got injured.
Yes, luckily, I don't think any players did.
No, I think it was just the fans, which is obviously not a good thing. You don't want that.
But like, if you're gonna get traded, I don't think the 49ers would send him to anybody in the NFC. That just would be silly of them. Don't you agree? So
yeah,
I've heard that the Pittsburgh Steelers could be a possible destination for him. I'm not sure how that would work with him and Russell Wilson. That doesn't seem like a great combo to me.
No, not at all.
Please don't send him to Kansas City, though. Oh, God, no.
Oh, God, no. We don't. Oh, no.
No.
Yeah, just send him to the team that beat you in the Super Bowl so they could beat some other poor team in the Super Bowl. Probably even you.
Yes.
Again.
Pull Kevin Durant. That's basically what that would be.
Yeah, if you can't beat him, join him.
Ugh. Yes. But we'll see what happens with this. But we got some other news in the world of football because it is possible that Clemson and Florida State are going to be leaving the ACC as soon as the 2025 season, not to go to the SEC, not to go to the Big Ten, but to the Big 12. Before we get to the SMU component, which is very interesting, the fact that they could possibly go to the Big 12 is what really surprised me. Because you think about it, Florida State, you'd be conference rivals with the Florida Gators. South Carolina, Clemson, you'd be conference rivals with South Carolina. Plus, you'd get to play Georgia, Alabama, LSU, Ole Miss, Tennessee, Oklahoma, Texas. That's a lot of great opponents for Florida State and Clemson.
Right, within the SEC. Why would you want to go to the... Because, who's in... Because I think the only teams I know of in the Big 12 are Oklahoma and Texas A&M. Or is Texas A&M SEC?
Texas A&M is SEC. Oklahoma is SEC now.
Oh, well... Who's in the Big 12 then?
You've got Oklahoma State, Baylor, Cincinnati.
Oh, that's right. Cincinnati joined the Big 12.
BYU, Arizona's joining, Colorado's joining, Utah is joining, Arizona State is joining, Kansas State, West Virginia. So nobody really of the power of the teams in the SEC. And think about the Big Ten. You've got Washington,
Ohio State, Michigan, Washington,
Oregon,
Northwestern, Oregon,
Wisconsin.
Northwestern can pull out a shocking upset every once in a while. I've seen it.
Yeah, Wisconsin, Penn State, my favorite team.
Iowa,
Illinois,
Michigan State.
Yep, Nebraska. like college football is really about the Big Ten and the SEC. So the fact that Florida State and Clemson would rather join the Big 12 just seems odd to me.
Right.
But yeah, so we also know SMU is joining the SEC or ACC, excuse me, this season, and
Yeah.
they are now. Correct me if I'm wrong on this. They are suing Clemson and Florida State directly.
I believe it is directly. I do believe they are suing both teams. I thought at first, like, hold on, let me actually take a look at the article to see whether they're suing the ACC for letting these teams leave or if they're suing the schools directly. Because that's what I need to know that.
Yeah, I'm not sure of the details on that one.
Yeah, it looks like they are reportedly suing FSU and Clemson directly on the grounds of breach of contract. They're seeking damages for TV revenue distribution for each season. FSU and Clemson are not playing in the ACC through 2036.
So,
sounds to me like a small school trying to get a payday.
Yeah. I mean, think about what's happened with the ACC, though. They're adding SMU, which is in Texas. Okay, I guess you can somewhat validate that. But then they go out and add Cal and Stanford.
Right. Two teams that are definitely not in the Atlantic.
I mean, to be fair, the the Pac-12 was falling apart and teams were leaving.
And I wouldn't be surprised if the ACC eventually follows suit.
Yes.
Because losing Clemson and Florida State, that's like the SEC losing Alabama and Georgia. That's right. like the Big Ten losing Ohio State and Michigan.
Yes. But again, I just can't get over this. Like, if you're Clemson and Florida State, you want the best chance to get to the college football playoff. I get that, like, this season, the playoff is expanding to 12 teams. So you're more than likely going to get in if you're Clemson or Florida State. But if you want the best competition, you're not going to get that in the Big 12.
Yeah.
Like, again, we just talked about this. If you go to the SEC, you get to face the likes of Kentucky, Texas A&M, Ole Miss, Georgia, Alabama, LSU, Florida.
Oregon. Or not Oregon, Oklahoma.
Texas, Tennessee. And then, again, if you go to the Big Ten, you'll be in there with USC, Washington, Oregon, Wisconsin, Penn State, Illinois, Ohio State, Michigan, Purdue, Michigan State, so.
Right. It's like, it seems like they're going to a conference that doesn't have any big market teams.
Right. Like, the Big 12 lost their big market teams when Texas and Oklahoma jumped ship and went to
the SEC.
Yes. Like, I guess the biggest name left in the Big 12 would be Baylor?
I'd say Baylor, kind of.
Or Oklahoma State?
Oklahoma State, yeah, it's going to be weird not seeing Oklahoma and Oklahoma State in the same conference. I'm just going to tell you that.
Yeah. It's also going to be weird not seeing Oregon and Oregon State in the same conference.
What state did what conference did Oregon State go to? Or are they still in the Pac-12?
I think it's them and Washington State that don't have a conference home right now. Everybody else found a home. Arizona State, Utah, Colorado all went to the Big 12. And as you know, Washington,
and
Oregon, UCLA, USC all went to the Big 10. Which, not even just as a Penn State fan, but just as a Big 10 fan in general, I'm so excited for Oregon, Washington, and USC to join the Big Ten because,
Yep.
for one, I love the Oregon-Washington rivalry. That is for me, that's one of the best rivalries in all of college football. But those three schools have become powerhouses in college football, especially.
Right. I mean,
And
we've seen Oregon in the college football playoff. They were in the inaugural championship game against Ohio State.
Yes. And we've seen USC back in the day with Pete Carroll as their head coach. They were winning national championships.
Yep.
And they played Texas in a fantastic national championship game.
That was 2005? I believe 2005, yeah.
Yeah. And even with UCLA, sure, they're not as well known for their college football, but they have a ton of history in college basketball.
Right. They had one of the most stacked rosters in, what was that, 2010?
Something like that.
Or before that, because they had Kevin Love, Russell Westbrook.
Yep. John Wooden coached there.
Yeah. They've won a couple national championships. Yeah. UCLA did.
They nearly beat Gonzaga in the Final Four a couple years ago.
Right.
Which, who knows how that national championship would have turned out if it was Baylor against UCLA. But it's gonna be interesting. College football is gonna be so different this season.
Right, and it's gonna get more different as the seasons progress.
Yeah, because I have a feeling conference realignment is not done.
No, not at all. I wouldn't be surprised if the Power 5 became a Power 3 by the next decade.
Yeah. It's interesting you say that, though, because I think for a while, we all thought like it was just going to be the Big Ten and the SEC in like these two super conferences.
Right, but I do believe that the Big 12 eventually will start to gain more and more and more. And so it'll be the SEC, the Big 12, and the Big 10.
Yes. But it's fascinating to see like what new rivalries are going to develop out of this all conference realignment stuff, and what new matchups do we get that we didn't expect. By the way, I know you have a PS5. Have you started playing NCAA?
Not yet. No, I haven't gotten it yet. I will eventually. I just don't want to get it yet.
Okay. I wish it was available on PS4 because I would get it right away, but they did not do that. So I have to decide if it's worth getting a PS5 or not.
Right.
So I'm not sure about that right now, but what I am sure about is that NBA free agency has kind of settled down now, so we can start to talk about our winners and losers. I'm going to say for sure a winner are the New York Knicks because they basically recreated the Villanova Wildcats, which is making it harder for me to dislike the New York Knicks because for those of you who don't know, I am a huge Villanova Wildcats fan when it comes to college basketball. I don't know why. I've just always liked the way Villanova has played college basketball, especially with Jay Wright as their head coach. I was a fan of Ryan Arcidiacono when he was there. So I just kind of gravitated towards Villanova. But you look at what the Knicks are doing. We kind of talked about this on the show following the trade. But the Knicks saw how the Celtics won the title. You know, yes, they had their stars in Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown, but
it's just a bunch of role players.
Exactly.
And they were a deep bench.
Right. And also, like, they had strong wing players. Like, if you are able to get past Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown, then you have to deal with Peyton Pritchard, Kristaps Porzingis, although he's more of a big, but you still get my point.
Right.
You got Derek White. Can't forget about him. Obviously, you've got like Drew Holiday. I get he's more of a guard, but he can play like a forward at times. So the Knicks saw them and were like, well, we got to kind of match what they're doing. So they're definitely a winner.
I'm going to say the Dallas Mavericks
For getting
are
Clay.
a winner. Yeah, getting Clay.
Okay.
That's a big – I don't think it's as big of a pickup as it would have been like maybe 5-6 years ago, but there's definitely something they can do with that.
Yeah, I agree. It'll be interesting to see how Clay fits in with Luka and Kyrie. That's an interesting pairing to me. Or trio. You have to say the Philadelphia 76ers are a winner also by signing.
I hesitate. Because I don't trust Joel Embiid or Paul George to stay healthy.
That is.
I don't.
That is
Brandon changed my mind when we spoke on this.
Explain.
He, because I was ready to call them, they're going to contend with the Celtics. And then he's like, of Tyrese Maxey, Paul George, and Joel Embiid, who do you trust the most to stay healthy? Joel Embiid and Paul George are injury prone. Tyrese Maxey, you can trust to stay healthy, I think. I don't know much about that. But has Joel Embiid ever played a fully healthy season, including postseason?
For the most part, I would say he's been able to stay healthy in the regular season. It's the postseason where he has problems. So,
right.
I do understand your hesitancy in saying the Sixers are a winner. I know we re-signed Donovan Mitchell. I get it. But I still am tempted to say that our hometown team, the Cleveland Cavaliers, are a loser of free agency. I'm tempted to say it. And I'll tell you why. Because Max Strus should... I'm sorry. If you're a true, playoff contender or championship contender for that matter, Max Strus can't be your starting small forward. Not when you're going against the likes of Giannis when he stays healthy. I get it. Chris Middleton, maybe his best days are behind him, but he can still put up, 20-plus points a game. You got Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown. You've got Tyrese Halliburton now over in Indiana. We saw what Orlando can do. You need a reliable small forward. And I don't feel like the Cavaliers properly addressed that situation. And
I definitely agree.
That's why I'm like, can we go out and trade for Kyle Kuzma from the Washington Wizards? Can we go out and sign Miles Bridges? He was a free agent. I get that he had some baggage, and I don't know how that would have gone down in Cleveland, given that we're already dealing with the Deshaun Watson stuff, but whatever. I'm like, can we go out and get somebody? Because I don't trust Okoro offensively. You and I have talked about that a number of times.
Right. We're it's basically on record at this point. Okoro is not good offensively, but his biggest upside is his defense.
Right. But for me, his defense doesn't offset the fact that he has not developed offensively. And he was a lottery pick. I think he was the number 5 overall pick in his draft, if I remember correctly.
It was either let me fact check this. Hold up.
Let's see. Yeah, 5th overall.
Okay.
So you were the number 5 overall pick. why haven't you, in the 2020 NBA draft, why haven't you developed your offense?
Right.
Like, you know, when the Cavs drafted Ojai Abaji a couple years ago, I was thrilled about that. I hated that we had to include him in the package to get Donovan Mitchell.
Right.
Not that I'm upset that we got Donovan Mitchell. That's not what I'm saying. But I wanted to see what Ojai Abaji could do. Maybe alongside a Donovan Mitchell, alongside an Evan Mobley, Darius Garland, Jared Allen, you know.
Yeah.
But who's another winner or loser for you in NBA free agency? You can go either way.
Have the Lakers done anything in free agency?
Nope.
Loser. Also, both LA teams really losers.
Yeah. You know what? I agree with you on that.
Because the Clippers lost Paul George, which is probably the biggest loss they could have other than Kawhi.
But then again, Kawhi can't stay healthy, so.
Which is, that's the major issue with that.
So, really, all the Clippers are counting on is James Harden.
Oh, yeah, wow. Yeah, they're mega losers.
You're relying on James Harden as you move into your brand new arena. I don't like that.
Good luck?
Yeah. So with the Lakers, they tried to go after Klay Thompson, failed. They tried to go after DeMar DeRozan, failed. I don't get it. Like, okay, cool. You drafted Bronny James. You got.
How's that working out for you in the summer league? It's not.
It's the summer league. I'm not really reading too much into it. But
yeah, but like this is his first test of like NBA action, and he
hasn't really done much. I get it. I do like who Dalton Connect, who they drafted number 17 overall.
Yeah, I do think that he was the pick that they needed, but at the same time, they haven't done anything in free agency, and that's why I kind of brand them as losers, because they haven't done anything. They didn't address any of the issues that they had.
Yeah, I agree. Like, you know, at best right now, I would say the Lakers are a play-in team in the Western Conference, because you know Memphis is going to be back with John Morant. Houston's on the upswing. You've got Sacramento, who believes they're contenders. Minnesota isn't going anywhere. Dallas isn't going anywhere. Oklahoma City isn't going.
Denver isn't going anywhere.
Yeah. Okay, it's interesting you bring up the Nuggets, because I would actually call them a loser of free agency, because they lost a key part of their championship team, Kentavious Caldwell-Pope.
Oh, yeah, they did lose KCP. He
went to a team I would call a winner of free agency, the Orlando Magic.
They definitely improved themselves quite a bit. I had Orlando down as a winner as well.
Yes, and that's scary for me because we went to a Game 7 against Orlando.
Right. If this series is to be replayed this season, I don't think it's going to go in Cleveland's favor.
No. But at least we avenged the 2009 Eastern Conference Finals. Now all we have to do is get revenge against the Boston Celtics for 2008, 2010, and 2024.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we kind of did get that revenge in that first round series in 2015 when we swept them. But it came at the cost of Kevin Love's arm. Thank you, Kelly Olynyk.
Yes. And we did beat them in the 2017 and 2018 Eastern Conference Finals, to be fair, but still.
That is true.
But still, it feels like I still want revenge for 2008 and 2010.
Right, especially 2010, because that's what pushed LeBron to be like, I'm out of here.
Yes. But going back to the Nuggets, they also had to trade Reggie Jackson to the Charlotte Hornets. So
that's a big loss for their bench.
That's what I'm.
Because Reggie Jackson, he is a very good off the bench point guard.
That's what I'm saying. So like, they're really gonna have to rely on Jamal Murray and Nikola Jokic to carry the load.
Right. And do they still have Aaron Gordon, or did he leave too?
They still have Aaron Gordon, yes.
Okay. He's been doing decently for himself. He's much better than he was in Orlando.
Yes. And he's another one of those wing players that I was talking about earlier. Like,
yeah.
You know, when they won the title, he was a key part of that. When the Celtics won the title, like I said, it was Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum, Derek White, Peyton Pritchard, and some of those other wing players. You know, when Toronto won, it was Kawhi Leonard, it was Siakam, guys like that.
Kyle Lowry.
Yes. I'm talking about specifically the wing players.
Oh, the wing players, yeah.
Yes. But that's not to diminish what Kyle Lowry meant to that team. That's not my intention. And then we also had NHL free agency, which I think you've been paying a little more attention to.
Absolutely.
But I'm going to give you a loser right off the bat. The Tampa Bay Lightning.
Yes, I definitely agree. Tampa Bay, they lost Stamkos.
I think they lost Sergachev, if I'm not mistaken.
They did lose Mikhail Sergachev, I believe.
Traded him to Utah.
Yep. I believe they also lost Victor Hedman, too.
I'm not 100% sure about that.
I swear Hedman went elsewhere, but Stamkos and Sergachev were big losses for them.
Looks like Hedman is still with the Tampa Bay Lightning.
Okay, my mistake. I'm going to give you the biggest winner of NHL free agency. The Nashville Predators. Oh my God, hang the banner at Bridgestone.
I was just going to ask you, are they going to hang another banner?
Yeah, they got, and hold on, let me bring all these up. They got Steven Stamkos. They got, I'm trying to think, because they got a bunch of names, and they were trying to go for one more, but I think he went another route.
Marchessault, Brady.
Yeah, they did get Jonathan. They got Steven Stamkos, Brady Shea, Scott Wedgwood, and Jonathan Marchessault.
So, with Jonathan Marchessault, could you say the Vegas Golden Knights are a loser of free agency?
I'm absolutely, because Jonathan Marchessault was the heart and soul of that team. If you lose the heart and soul of your team, then it's not looking good for you. And
how would you categorize the Columbus Blue Jackets? Winners or losers?
What did they do? Did they add anyone?
Did
they add anyone of importance?
Monahan. But
they did. But there is that whole looming threat of Patrick Laine's gone.
Yes. And I don't think the Blue Jackets even have a head coach yet.
They do not. They fired Pascal Vincent after one season.
Yeah. So
that's not a good sign. I'd say, yeah, Columbus is definitely a loser on this end.
I gotta say the Penguins are a loser probably. I mean, yeah, they re-signed. I think they re-signed Sidney, but I don't think Pittsburgh really did anything else, if I'm not mistaken.
I'm gonna go with.
Oh, actually, Pittsburgh did do some stuff. They signed Nate Schmidt. They signed TJ Brody, Tyler Johnson, Anthony Beauvillier, Matthias Janmark. So I guess you could say the Penguins were a winner in free agency.
Yeah. The Sabres got a bunch of names.
Well,
but are any of them good?
They
Probably
took
not.
They took a couple guys from the Monsters, which should help the Rochester Americans.
Yep.
We'll get to the Monsters shortly. Because their schedule got.
Chicago Blackhawks got a couple names in Teuvo Teravainen and is it Teuvo Teravainen? And
I think it's Teuvo Teravainen.
Yeah, and and I don't remember which Bertuzzi this is. And they got Pat Maroon. And I believe TJ Brody.
No, TJ Brody, I think, went to the Penguins. It looks like. Wait. Oh, yeah, that's right. Tarasenko did go to the Detroit Wings. I forgot. So I would say the Red Wings are a winner also. I like what they did over the offseason. They were able to re-sign Patrick Kane. Like I said, they signed Tarasenko. Yeah, so the Red Wings, they added Vladimir Tarasenko, they added Jack Campbell, and they added Cam Talbot, but they also lost David Perron, Jack Wallman, and James Reimer. So, according to ESPN, they got an overall grade of a C+. Oh, there you are.
Technical difficulties.
Okay. So I don't know if you heard what I said, but according to ESPN, the Red Wings got an overall grade of a C+ for free agency.
Well, that's pretty good.
Yeah, because they added the likes of Tarasenko, Jack Campbell, and Cam Talbot.
Yeah.
But they also lost David Perron, Jack Wallman, and James Reimer.
Oh, and the Red Wings did bring back
Patrick
Kane. Yep.
Yeah. What about the New York Rangers? What would you say, winner or loser?
Let me take a look here at what they did. Let's see. They lost a lot of they lost Wenberg, they lost Gustafson, they lost Brouillard, they lost Lindbaum. I don't think they didn't really bring anyone big in, but they don't need anyone big right now because they've got a bunch of star power. So I think what they did was they just signed a bunch of third, fourth line guys, maybe guys for their AHL.
I do like that the Rangers added Riley Smith. I think that's a big pick.
Oh yeah, Riley Smith. That's gonna help them big time. I'd actually say, Ottawa might be a winner here.
Really?
Because I'm looking at some of these names. And plus, they did get that trade with LA. I think they brought in who'd they bring in? Goaltender, former Blue Jacket.
They lost Korpisalo.
Oh, that's right. They traded someone else, or they traded for
Linus Ullmark.
Yeah. Oh, bringing in Linus Ullmark is going to be big for them.
Yeah, Ottawa added Michael Amadio and David Perron.
Which is really good.
They got a B as an overall grade according to ESPN.
So, yeah, I'd say I'd put them in the winners category.
I don't know how to feel about Dallas because Joe Pavelski, I believe he announced his retirement. If I'm not mistaken.
That is correct.
But they added Matt Dumba and Casey DeSmith, and
they re-signed Matt Duchene.
yes, and
They re-signed, they lost Matt Murray to Nashville.
they also signed. I'm gonna try and say his name, Ilya Lyubushkin, a defenseman, but they do have a lot of key losses. Radek Foxka,
Foxa, yeah.
Yanni Hakanpa or something.
Well, I don't know that one.
Joe Pavelski, Craig Smith, Sam Steele, Ryan Suter, Chris Tanev.
Oh no, they re-signed Sam Steele.
Oh, it says on here that he was a key player lost on ESPN.
Interesting. I'm looking at it through the NHL, and it says re-signed.
Ryan Suter, Chris Tanev, Scott Wedgwood.
Oh, that's right. They did lose Chris Tanev.
So, Dallas is a weird one. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
I would say Winnipeg is a winner.
Yeah. No, I'd agree with you on that one.
Toronto's just Toronto.
Toronto thinks they can carry everything, but no.
Yeah, because the Maple Leafs, they added Tanev.
They lost Tyler Bertuzzi, TJ Brody, Joel Edmondson, Dylan Gambrell, Noah Gregor. Yeah, they did lose Samsonov. They lost Ilya Lyubushkin, who signed with Dallas.
Yep.
They lost Max Lajoie, who signed with Seattle.
Yeah. They added Oliver Ekman-Larsson. They added goalie Anthony Stolarz. So, I don't want to say whether Utah is a hot winner or loser yet because they haven't played any games. So, I'm looking at Colorado. That's a lot of losses for the Avalanche. They lost Cogliano. They lost Brandon Duheim. They lost Jack Johnson. They lost Caleb Jones, Zach Parise, Yakov Treinen, and Sean Walker. So that's a lot of losses for the Avs. I'm not sure. You good over there? And I think we lost Chris, but we're going to keep going. So, the Cleveland Monsters 2024-2025 schedule got announced. And thanks to how last season ended, actually, hold on one second. There we go. I figured since we're talking about the Monsters, I might as well switch my background. There we go. So, given how the Eastern Conference Finals ended last season, with the Monsters coming up a goal short of completing the ultimate comeback by pulling a reverse sweep against the Hershey Bears, who would go on to not only win the series against the Monsters, but also win the Calder Cup. Where did the Monsters start the season? In Hershey. In fact, the Monsters start the season on, I believe it's a 5-game road trip at Hershey, at Charlotte, and at Rochester, if I'm not mistaken. Hold on one second. But anyway, so the Monsters, like I said, they will start the season in Hershey. Yes, they go Hershey, Charlotte, Rochester, and they don't play their home opener until October 26th. So that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Their home opener will be the 6th game of the season. And our big homestand that we got last year, which was 10 games, will happen in December when we get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 games at home against Syracuse, Lehigh Valley, Utica, Rochester, and Grand Rapids. We also played the Milwaukee Admirals, AHL affiliate of the Nashville Predators, and we also play the Texas Stars, AHL affiliate of the Dallas Stars. Unfortunately, this season we do not play the Hartford Wolfpack like we did last season. They are the AHL affiliate of the New York Rangers, but we will be playing the Providence Bruins, AHL affiliate of the Boston Bruins, Lehigh Valley Phantoms, AHL affiliate of the Philadelphia Flyers, Charlotte Checkers, AHL affiliate of the Florida Panthers, Hershey Bears, like I said earlier, AHL affiliate of the Washington Capitals, and the Wilkes-Barre Scranton Penguins, AHL affiliate of the Pittsburgh Penguins. We're also going to be playing the Utica Comets, AHL affiliate of the New Jersey Devils, Rochester Americans, Buffalo Sabres affiliate, the Laval Rocket, AHL affiliate of the Montreal Canadiens, Belleville Senators, AHL affiliate of the Ottawa Senators. You've got the Syracuse Crunch, AHL affiliate of the Tampa Bay Lightning, the Toronto Marlies, AHL affiliate of the Toronto Maple Leafs, the Grand Rapids Griffins, AHL affiliate of the Detroit Red Wings, and the Chicago Wolves, AHL affiliate of the Carolina Hurricanes. So, I'm hoping that Chris will come back for this. So, because it's time to get into something very, very interesting. There we go. Switching back. AEW is on fire right now. Holy crap. Okay, there you are. You're right on time. Because AEW is on fire right now.
It absolutely is. It absolutely is. Like, my God, AEW these past couple Dynamites have had shocking turns. A big or the big stuff within the
Owen Hart, yep.
Owen Hart Cup tournament, such as like the return of Hangman Adam Page, the shocking win of Bryan Danielson.
Yep, the heel
turn of Mariah May, and of course Willow Nightingale beating Statlander, which I don't think anyone expected to happen.
No, but I do think we're going to get a proper pay-per-view match between them, either at All Out or All In. If they build up that feud right, I think Willow versus Statlander could absolutely happen at Wembley Stadium at All In. I absolutely think that you could justify that.
Yes.
But speaking of stadium shows, Tony Khan, why? Yeah, why? So, All In is a stadium show, but it happens in the United Kingdom, specifically London, at Wembley Stadium. Okay? That's fine. But now you're talking about doing a stadium show here in the United States at Jerry's World?
Right.
What? Why? Of all the stadiums you could have chosen, why the Dallas Cowboys?
Right.
Like, why not go for a smaller stadium? Like, I don't know, your own stadium, where the Jaguars play.
Right. Especially, like, why? like, Tony, I love ambition, right? I am a very ambitious person. But I think you're flying a little too close to the sun here, buddy. Those wings could melt.
Yeah. Like, when WrestleMania has gone to Dallas, they've completely sold out that building. Do you think you're going to do that? Like, I hate to bring up this whole attendance issue, but AEW has trouble, like, with these arenas in terms of their attendance. And you expect to, have a huge crowd for an 80,000 plus stadium? What?
Right.
Like, Tony
It's
Khan.
not going to be easy. It's not going to be easy.
He better, if this turns out to be true, he better put together a massive card that's like, oh my God, I need to watch every single match on this show.
Right.
It can't be like, what would be a pay-per-view, a match that doesn't belong on a pay-per-view? Like
the Workhorsemen versus
Iron
Savages.
Yes, that's a Rampage match. That does not belong on a pay-per-view.
That's not just that's a Dark Elevation match if I've ever seen one. Dark Elevation doesn't exist anymore.
Yes, you are right about that. So I don't get it. But let's talk about last week's episode of Dynamite.
Oh, absolutely. Because we have two major things within the Owen Hart to talk about. First off, our female winner, Mariah May, beating Toni Storm bloody with not only the Owen Hart belt, but her own shoe.
So you
kind of have to say this, Tony.
You didn't watch
for the shoe.
But you have to wonder now. Was this all a ruse? Was
this Mariah's plan the whole time? Or
did Mariah May just snap?
Right.
Like, it's fascinating. And then the story here is just going to be incredible leading up to All In.
It's like if you watch like the exclusive after on what happened after on YouTube, it was just complete silence from both of them. Like there was not a word. It quite honestly, it looked like a scene out of a horror movie.
You know what I wonder? Does Mina Shirakawa come back into this? Because
I hope so.
It seems like after because she got smashed in the head with that champagne bottle, and then after Forbidden Door, they're just like, oh, we're all friends, yay, let's skip off together. I'm like, what? Like,
yeah,
I didn't
she accidentally smashed Mina accidentally smashed Mariah in the head when she was aiming for Tony. Tony got out of the way, and Mina smashed it over Mariah's head. I don't know where they're going with this. It's so interesting. And that's the thing I love about AEW is that nothing is like predictable. Like you have no idea where an angle is going.
Right. Unlike in WWE where, I'm sorry, like I don't give a shit about Rhea Ripley, Liv Morgan.
I never liked Liv Morgan to begin with. She is just a ripoff of Alexa Bliss without any of the charisma and half the talent.
Yes.
Why do they keep pushing her?
I don't
know. No one asked for it.
Between SmackDown and Raw, SmackDown's 100 times more interesting than
And then
Raw.
If you factor in NXT is here, the main roster is here.
Yes.
And that's the way it always has been.
Yes. Where Ethan Page, a former AEW man, is now the NXT champion. But getting back to last week's episode of AEW, Will Ospreay's promo at the beginning of the show, he's just sitting on top of the ring post or whatever. And he's like, you called me a talentless hack. Dude, I've got more talent in my left nut than you do in your whole body. I just started laughing my
And
ass
then
off.
that little MJF vignette promo with him stirring the wine.
Yes. He's
That
like, oh, you thought I was actually gonna come down? No, these Canadians don't deserve to be in my presence. And I'm like, there's the MJF we all know and love.
Yep. It was so good to see him turn, and he murdered Daniel Garcia. That was great.
That's why I'm wondering. I don't think you bring Daniel Garcia back in yet, but that's why I'm so interested that we're just doing the match right away on Dynamite. We're not saving it for All In. That's why
Well, I think it's because they want to run Ospreay Pac at All In, because Pac has a guaranteed shot at the international title. That's why he won that global fatal 4-way.
Right. So
So
do you think they're leaning towards MJF versus
Daniel Garcia
as
at All
In?
Yeah, I could see them doing that. That is definitely an All In worthy match. And if they don't want to run it All In, fine. All Out's next week.
Yeah.
There you go.
The other thing I was thinking is, no, I guess because of what you said with Pac, they can't really turn it into a triple threat match between Ospreay, Garcia, and MJF.
No, because we've got
Pac.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that kind of messes up everything, because like we were talking about this in the Discord server that we're both in. Could this lead to like a time limit draw? Some type of DQ finish?
I don't think either of these men are going to lose. But then again, I said that about Swerve and Ospreay at Forbidden Door, and well, someone did lose.
I heard the reasons Ospreay.
Well, I saw the reason why they had Ospreay lose was because he wanted to put away all the rumors that Swerve was just a placeholder champion for Ospreay
at All In.
Right. And I like that explanation. I like that idea.
Yeah, I'm cool with that. But I think it was during last week's episode of Dynamite. Correct me if I'm wrong. Ospreay just casually asked Don Callis, "Hey, I want."
It was 2 weeks ago.
Okay,
that happened.
He said, "I want to leave the Don Callis family," and Don Callis just said, "Okay. However, I need a favor. I might ask you for a favor in the future. I wonder if that favor at some point could tie into this match between MJF and Ospreay on Wednesday."
It absolutely could. I could see it happening. Absolutely.
I don't know. Could that favor be that, hey, I need you to hit the Tiger Driver 91 on MJF?
Ooh.
Yes, don't you think that could be a possibility?
I could absolutely see that being a possibility, but I can't think of a time when Ospreay or when MJF ever crossed Don Callis.
That's true.
So, like, why would, and especially because MJF's a heel, why wouldn't Don Callis want to recruit MJF?
That's true.
I mean, I definitely don't see it happening. MJF is better as a solo act. He does not need a manager. That's why they had him separate from the firm immediately.
And that's why the Pinnacle didn't work. Although I loved their feud with the Inner Circle. That was great.
I actually liked the CM Punk feud with the Pinnacle a little better because he was able to break them apart.
Yes.
Because not only because of his friendship with FTR, but because he got through to Wardlow.
Correct. Well, did he though? Because Wardlow's disappeared again.
Well, I meant like kind of telling Wardlow to be like, hey, you don't need MJF.
Yeah.
And at first he didn't because he enjoyed a long reign with the TNT title, then lost to Samoa Joe because WWE was poking around and kind of wanted Joe. So Tony Khan's like, no. Well, we're gonna strap this guy up. He's ours. And it worked out better for Joe because because Tony Khan did the one thing Vince McMahon refused to do. Let Samoa Joe be world champion.
Yes. Which, that triple threat match at Revolution was fantastic.
Yes.
But in which we still don't know the answer. Did Hangman actually have to tap out, or was he just doing that to prevent Swerve from winning the title?
We all know they won't tell us the answer. We already know the answer. He did it to screw Swerve.
Yes, which leads me to question, why didn't they have Hangman win the Owen Hart?
I'm guessing it's because it's Danielson's last year, and this is his last shot at the world title. I would have had Hangman win and then have Danielson kind of get into the world title scene a bit later through at Wrestle Dream, since it is in both his and Swerve's home state. That's the right way to do it.
Right. Plus, you have Nigel McGuinness on commentary just, running down Bryan Danielson any opportunity he gets.
Honestly, I feel like they want to reverse it because everyone was calling Nigel McGuinness an All In, Swerve later. Maybe that's his last match as a full-time competitor is Nigel McGuinness.
Could be, but if you're not gonna run Hangman Swerve at All In, you have to run that match at some point, don't you?
I'm thinking World's End.
Oh, and they kind of do the same thing where Swerve's world ends.
I could see that, or I think the theme of World's Ending this year is going to be about the Elite because the Elite have all this power, and I do believe that it's going to run to World's End. And then the Elite are just going to lose all their power by the World's End.
Could be. But man, All In has so many compelling storylines going into it. I'm loving how Britt and Mercedes Moné are just upstaging each other. That's what this
I'm enjoying that. I am a huge
Britt.
I actually like Britt.
Okay.
I actually ever since she turned face, I think she's been doing a lot better than she was as a heel.
You and I have never agreed because you continue to say Hikaru Shida was the best AEW women's champion all time.
I mean, there is a reason Tony trusted her with it two more times over Britt. They could have easily given Britt another title reign, but they trusted Shida, or Tony Khan trusted Shida. Why though? Because she carried the company through the pandemic, or the women's division through the pandemic, and that's why I say she's the best.
But couldn't that also be because Britt was injured and unable to wrestle?
Well, no. During Shida's second title reign, she lost with Britt in the match.
Oh, right, at All In.
Yeah.
Against Saraya.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, nice job not having the champion factor into the finish at all.
Yeah. I forget who Saraya pinned in that match.
Tony. Because Britt had Shida in the lockjaw.
Oh, yeah, that's right. But nonetheless, I know your feelings about Mercedes Moné. I've always liked her going back to her days as Sasha Banks.
See, I liked Sasha Banks. I just feel like without the scripting of the promos, without her having a script to read from it, her promos just feel so forced and stilted, and it doesn't feel natural.
And I know you hate that she's basically part of the elite now, because you hate.
Oh no, I don't mind her being part of the elite. I actually wanted that.
Oh,
but
really?
I don't like the Young Bucks, and they're charisma vacuums. I hate Jack Perry. He is a charisma vacuum himself. I will say this. If Monet can find her charisma, the charisma she had at Sasha Banks, I will say that Okada is no longer the only charismatic piece of the elite. But as of right now, he is the only piece of charisma the elite has, and that's sad.
I still love when the Acclaimed were trying to make the rap.
Oh yeah, he's like, I hit the wrong button. I'm so sorry.
I'm so sorry, bitch.
Bitch. Okada. This is the Kazuchika Okada we've needed for so long.
Dude, that's
I am
another
so
match.
glad. I'm so glad AEW is letting him be this comedy character, because
and yet when he gets in the ring, you don't want to face him. No.
Well, there is a reason he is one of the. I think that there is a true Mount Rushmore of the greatest 4 wrestlers on Earth currently. He is on that Mount Rushmore.
I will say this. Kenny Omega were healthy right now, he would be on there for sure. In my opinion.
I mean, yes. Kenny Omega's still on there because, he's still as in currently active as in non-retired. I think the top 4 wrestlers in the world, non-retired, currently active, are Kazuchika Okada, Will Ospreay, Kenny Omega, and AJ Styles.
Ooh, AJ.
AJ is always going to be one of the best.
Didn't he just have a match in Noah, if I'm not mistaken?
Pro Wrestling Noah. I don't remember the opponent's name, but yeah, he did have a match in Pro Wrestling Noah, which is awesome.
So did Io Sky, actually.
Not Noah. A different company. It's a Joshi company.
Oh, okay. But nonetheless, I know Io Sky had a match in Japan. I think
which is really nice.
It might have been on the same show AJ was on. I'm
not 100% sure. I don't know if I can, because they don't usually. Let's see.
But nonetheless, let's get to what we've got on this week's episode of Dynamite. We already talked about what's the Will Ospreay MJF stuff. Let's talk about what's probably going to be the main event. Swerve Strickland versus Kazuchika Okada. Champion versus champion.
Yep.
The way Swerve set this up last week in that promo was beautiful. First of all, he's like, yes, I am joining Blood and Guts for Team AEW, which led to Hangman in turn going, okay, yes, I will join Blood and Guts and be part of Team Elite. I loved that. Because we get to see Hangman and Swerve inside Blood and Guts. Yes, please. Thank you very much.
Yes.
Which means we only have 2 spots left for Team AEW in Blood and Guts. Who do you think that's going to?
I think it's going to. It can't go to the Elite because they won.
Well, they have all 5 members. They've got Okada.
Oh, you mean who the rest of Team AEW is going to be?
Correct.
Okay.
Because we've got Briscoe, Swerve.
This is kind of just my fantasy book because I want to see it. I really want to see this happen. Jay Lethal joins Team AEW and says, I don't want Jeff Jarrett in the ring with Hangman, but I've got 2 friends who definitely want to mix it up with the Young Bucks. Enter the Motor City Machine Guns.
They're probably heading for WWE, though.
I know, but I want them so badly in AEW.
I believe so far on Team AEW, it's Mark Briscoe,
Swerve.
Swerve. Is that it?
I think that's it, unless something happened on Collision that I wasn't aware of because I didn't watch Collision last week.
Not that I know of. It sounds like, oh yeah, Darby returned on last week's episode of Dynamite.
Yeah, he did, attacking Brandon Cutler.
Yes. So my guess is he's going to join Team AEW. And I bet you the last two spots are going to go to Max Caster and Anthony Bowens.
I could definitely see that.
Because they won that tag team eliminator match, which means they earned a tag team title opportunity.
Yep.
But they haven't cashed that in yet. It's probably going to happen at All In.
Yeah.
I could see that being an All In match.
Yeah, it most likely will be. She was not on that Noah show.
Okay. But, yeah. And then I think Mercedes Moné is facing Nyla Rose tomorrow because she put out an open challenge.
For anyone but Britt Baker.
Yes. I'm loving how this feud is going. And, dude, wrestling is awesome right now. Well, Monday Night Raw, not so much. But, because Monday Night Raw, I'm just like, this is boring. Like, can I get some wrestling, please?
Right.
Whereas when I watch AEW, I'm like, oh, so that's why it's called All Elite Wrestling.
Right.
Oh, and guess what we get tomorrow on Dynamite? Hi, guys!
Chris Jericho, the
Yes.
one of the best things in pro wrestling right now.
As much as, like, I've criticized him, I'm like, as this whole character has developed more, I'm starting to like it more because he's gone from, like, this, like, just kind of comedy heel, if you will, to just losing his mind.
Yep. That's the best way to describe it. He is going insane, and I love it.
So that's why I'm starting to come around on it. When he first debuted this character, I'm like, I can't really get behind this. Because it was just, there was just something about it that was a miss. But I'm like, but now that he's like becoming more and more of a lunatic, I'm like, okay, I like this.
Yeah.
I wonder if what's going to happen because he's taken out Hook. He's taken out Samoa Joe.
So I'm wondering how he's going to take out Katsuyori Shibata.
Yes. And if that's the case, what happens at All In and or All Out? You would think this has to end somehow, right?
Well, I think Hook will come back eventually. He only got a fireball in the face. Doesn't. The reason why they took out Joe was because he's going to film Twisted Metal season 2.
Right. So
I'm guessing it's going to be Hook and Jericho.
FTW rules match probably
For the FTW championship, and Hook's going to get the belt back again.
It almost makes me wonder what the point of giving Jericho the belt was, though. It feels
I mean, what was the point of giving Jack Perry the belt if he was just going to lose it to Hook too?
After turning heel on Hook.
Right, because we had that whole Jungle Hook thing.
Yeah, it was weird.
Yeah.
But you got anything else?
Not on AEW right now.
All right. Well, thanks for tuning in. And we will see you next week. Brandon will be back. Seaboss, thank you very much for tuning in.
Always a pleasure.
Yep. We'll bring you back on when we go to preview SummerSlam, which will be happening in our backyard, Cleveland, Ohio, at Cleveland Brown Stadium. You will be at Friday Night SmackDown the night before.
Yep.
So,
I will also be at SummerSlam. Well, we will be at SummerSlam.
Yes. I presume Roman Reigns will return at SummerSlam.
I do believe they would save his return for a big show like SummerSlam.
Yes. So, we will see. But until next time, That's Seaboss. I'm UngarToTheMax. We'll see you later.